Hi, everybody. Are we live? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Scenes. My live kicks in, my notification kicks in late. So there's always this weird moment of people thinking we're live and I don't know it. So welcome. We're 1 week out from Halloween. So of course we have to talk about Halloween and teenagers. And Mindy posted on Facebook, I don't remember what day last week. What day, Mindy?
Thursday.
On Thursday about what are your teenagers doing for Halloween. And we had, I think maybe around 150 comments, something like that, somewhere between 150, 200 comments. And I read them and I was touched by them. It changed how I feel about teenagers and Halloween. Like, it was really wholesome and kids just wanting to have some fun around Halloween. No one wrote about their kids throwing eggs at a house, go figure. And there were none of these like kids showing my kids go out with bags and don't dress up. It was really getting into the holiday spirit, which I was touched by it. It was kind of like felt like a throwback to a simpler time. So, we don't really get people trick-or-treating in our neighborhood, but we put out candy every year, and every year we cross our fingers because we're desperate for some kids to come by and get candy. So, where we are, maybe it's everywhere. You put your porch light on and that's an indication that you've got candy for them. And we just kind of hope, but it's like communities know which neighborhoods are not good and they go to neighborhoods that are better. And so we're not a good Halloween neighborhood.
Neither are we this year, Sue, only because, as you know, we've moved and we're more rural. So it's hard to get around. So, and I miss it.
Yeah,
I do miss the kids.
I know. Maybe we have to go to the good neighborhoods just to be around all of it. Like, I feel like I would be very happy in Kamira's neighborhood. Tell us what you do.
Well, wait, hold on, Kamira. I think if we dressed up, we might even get some candy. If we had some really good masks.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
Yeah, I mean,
adults want to be kids too.
Well, I mean, the good thing is, like, a candy store makes me feel like a kid. I don't have to go trick or treating.
Sorry, Kamira, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. I was going to say you're all invited to our neighborhood because we are one of those neighborhoods. We have parades. We give prizes to the best dressed animal. We have music. We have bouncy houses. We have food trucks. And so many people come to our neighborhood that the police cut off the roads and you have to come home. Like, you basically, if you commute to work, you shouldn't that day, but if you do, you need to come home and put your car in your garage by 3:00 because the roads are filled. We get hundreds and hundreds. I plan for at least 300 kids coming to our door. That's in addition to, we also have a roving parade that throws candy out. And that's in addition to that. These are the ones coming to the door. But the adults get into it, Mindy. You don't have to have a kid. The adults dress and give out, and they and people go door to door and drink wine with the neighbors. It's huge.
I am coming. I have a week.
Are there co-chairs of this event?
So we do have somebody who rallies us all, and she is the chair of the event. And we have a Facebook page, and she posts on Facebook. She collects candy that's then distributed to the people who are in the parade. Not the costume parade for the kids and adults where there's a judge, but the parade where people dress up their cars and throw candy from it. So she collects for that. It is so much. We have the decorations are amazing. They're not as amazing as they were. We're going through a turnover of homeowners. But we used to have a homeowner who did every year a haunted house in his garage. Wow. And then we have one of my neighbors a couple doors down does a whole thing with a fog machine and stuff. It's a lot.
I love that. I love that.
Teens are welcome.
Well, and especially, Kamira, because the world is so tough these days. There's so much negative going on. I feel happy just listening to your story. So, but really, what a fabulous, fantastic, a lot of work for sure, but what a fun night.
Yeah, I love the idea. I think it's so wholesome and it's such a throwback to another time in America. But
Right.
someone has to want to be in charge, and it's not me.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we are, so Julie is in charge, and we are eternally grateful for Julie for being in charge of that.
Maybe she be in charge nationally?
Food trucks everywhere, bouncy houses everywhere.
Yeah.
She gets a live band to come. So we have, for the daylight parade where we walk around our little local park and stuff. Yeah.
Does everybody pay into this?
For Halloween, the only way you have to pay in is if you donate candy. Now we do fireworks on the 4th of July, and we actually do pay into that.
Okay, so who's covering the cost of a band and all those things?
So our HOA has an activities budget as part of our due.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's
amazing.
fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
We do a couple of other things.
What's happening in your neighborhood, Franziska?
Well, so my neighborhood is like, I would say, in between. We live on the wrong side of the street, so that means like on the other side, almost all the houses are open, and on my side, they're like 3 open. So the kids, it seems to be like it's too much work to cross the street very often. So they just keep going on the other side. But this is the first year that my kids have decided to not stay in our neighborhood. So they are both out with friends in different neighborhoods, doing their own thing for the first time. So that's a little different. So I felt like we have lost our home base this year.
And Jessica, what's going on with you and where you live?
I don't know. So I moved to this house, mid-COVID, like middle of COVID. Nobody came the first year. And then the next year, like, people are starting to open up. Maybe we'll pull out candy. We're gonna put on like a couple of little decorations, put on the light. Zero kids. Not, as far as I'm aware, not a single child came to take a piece of candy. So there's like 3 houses on my street that have some decorations. We have like 2 pumpkins and like a little ghost statue. So hopefully a child will take some candy. But you know what? At the end of the day, if the kid doesn't have the candy, I will be eating so many Twix, and I am fine with that outcome. So I won't be too crushed if I still, we don't get a single kid coming by. I don't know. It's a pretty quiet neighborhood. I have seen some kids around, so I know they're out there, but I don't know if this is the kind of neighborhood kids come to trick or treat. It seems like probably not.
How about you, Melissa?
So when my kids were younger, we also had someone in the neighborhood organizing a parade that went through the neighborhood and a big party and all that stuff. And I was pretty into it. I volunteered a lot with my kids, but I'm telling you, after doing this for so many years, I'm freaking burned out. Like, I just want to turn the lights off and pull the cars in and be like, people just move on, because I don't even want to answer the door.
You're a Grinch. You're a Grinch.
I'm not going to do that. I luckily have my older daughter home, and she's like, I will answer the door. I want to see everyone's costumes. I'm like, oh, for F's sake, like, I need to go outside and like clean the pathway for these people to come up safely. Like, I'm just so not into this anymore.
Love your honesty. I love your honesty, Melissa. At least you're being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm keeping it real.
Worst comes to worst, plenty of people have like a basket with a sign outside that just says like, take 1 piece of candy. Like, I think that's probably
I've done that. I have put candy out there, and these little pissers come over and dump the whole bowl in their pillowcases, and they're like, let's go tell other people to do the same thing. Like, no.
Okay. So I think I was Melissa for a long time, but now that I'm so far away from having little kids, I can't think of anything more delightful than to have these kids, even teenagers. Like, I would long to see teenagers coming to my door and trick or treating, but I won't get it. But I long for it. Like,
Go ahead.
Go.
I was just gonna say, now that Melissa has started us down a different path, I'm gonna support you. And I am just gonna say, no, I'm fine with Halloween, but the whole teenager thing, come to my house. Here's my one caveat. Put a hat on. Don't come, put a witch's hat. Because when you were saying they take the whole basket and throw it in that's my one thing. Make a little effort. I don't care if it's a cowboy hat. I don't care if it's I did not appreciate when teens would show up dressed perfectly with a pillowcase.
Oh, see,
Come
like
on.
I didn't mind if they came without a costume. I'm like, okay,
Oh.
you still want your childhood. That is totally fine with me. You're willing to walk around the neighborhood, totally fine with me. I just don't like the dishonesty. Like that's what really gets me.
Okay, Melissa, you went to law school, right?
I did, yeah.
It's an attractive nuisance. You put out a bag of candy and there's nobody watching. It's not dishonest. It's like you go like this. You look around for a second, no one's there. You tempted them.
It's the victory dance at the end, Sue. They're like sending rockets up into the sky, flares. Come to this house.
All right. Well, so let's just do a quick round. Teenagers. How do you feel about teenagers? I feel removed enough that I would be delighted to see teenagers. First of all, the older my kids get, the younger those teenagers look. So you look like you should be still trick-or-treating. And I think I told everyone this story, but my son drove to his college house this year with some of our furniture that we weren't using. And he forgot, by the time he went to U-Haul, he could only get like the size of a house U-Haul. And my picture of him at 21 was like the 3-year-old behind the wheel of the truck. Like I couldn't understand why they allowed him to rent it, why they allowed him to drive it. Like every part of it was like a 3-year-old. And I guess I kind of feel that way about these teenagers. Like they look so vulnerable and little still, and come to our house. Okay, who else has an opinion on teenagers?
Oh, I'm perfectly fine with them. I agree with Mindy. I feel like they should be a little in costume, just a hint of I'm celebrating Halloween.
What if they're in the most subtle costume though? What if they're like dressed as like a teenager from a show? And like it's like, oh, if you knew the show, you'd get it. This specific T-shirt is the T-shirt.
So here's my thing for that, Jessica. When kids would show up, because we did live in a neighborhood where we would get a ton of kids, same thing. You never almost left the door. If they showed up with nothing on, even middle schooler, I'd be like, wait a minute. And I'd sarcastically give them a bit of a hard time. Like, where's the costume? Like, because to me, participate. I don't care. Adults can come to my house. I would give them candy too. I don't care. But just make an effort. Come on.
Wait, what were the kids' responses when you gave them a little bit of a nudge?
Ooh, typical keen, and then I do something like, well, your face is pretty scary or something like that. But come on. Let's not let them off a little easy. Make a tiny effort. So thank you, Francisca, for breaking it back.
About, because my husband always does this, which I find slightly embarrassing, but he always tells them, what's your trick? And the teenagers, most of the time, have one. So many of them are like, yeah, I can do this. Or, they do some kind of...
Wait, when they come up, I need to see the trick?
Yeah.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I like that too.
I think that's cute.
Kamira, this is you could have a talent show. Why don't you be in charge of the talent show?
Yeah, I'm thinking, ooh, but I have to do it during a lull, right? Because we actually get crushes where my husband and I are sitting on the stairs like, okay. And then I make it difficult because I have like, for the wee ones, I have bubbles because they're not getting candy. And then I have something so I always have like 3 different things. I'm like, okay, this is for this. If they're this big, if they're this big, if they're this big, my husband's like, oh God.
Simplify.
I know does anyone have that dentist in their neighborhood that always gives out the toothbrushes? Yeah.
I have dentists who buy back candy.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
What do they do?
They buy the candy from the kids. So they
Wow.
like, if you bring like a pound of candy, we give you, I don't know what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they have a contest sometimes. Whoever brings in the most gets some kind of prize.
So the dentist buys all the candy and he eats it, and then he gives the.
I think they send it overseas to the
They
troops.
send it to the
To the
troops.
troops.
Yeah.
Really? That's a thing?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's
But
cool.
Melissa, our dentist who's in the neighborhood, the Christmas tree, their decorations, candy. I'm like, you put candy on the tree.
The Halloween candy.
They're actual ornaments. It's not real candy. It's actual ornaments that, you know, whatever. I don't know where she got it. She's like, oh yeah, it's marketing and branding for us.
Keeps the business going. Keeps the business going. They should actually give out more candy. It'll improve their business. Follow me for more marketing advice.
Okay, who's got the final word? Kamira, who are you talking
What?
to?
Tomorrow we are talking to, well, I want to say happy UN Day to everybody because I
Huh?
like to say happy UN Day from my
Happy
former
UN
life.
Day back to you.
Thank you. But tomorrow we are speaking with Julie Lammers. She is with the American Student Assistance, and we're talking about how do I talk to my tween or teen about careers. So starting them off early so that they start thinking about things like that. It will be tomorrow, Tuesday at 1:30 Eastern. Is it 1 or 1:30? It is 1 o'clock. I don't have my glasses on. It's 1 o'clock tomorrow Eastern time. Huh?
And Francisca, who are you talking to? You have one more with Phyllis?
Yep. I'm having my last chat on Wednesday at 1:30 with Phyllis, and we are going to talk about the effects that still linger from COVID. And if you guys see it, it's all on our social medias. There are like polls out there. So if you want to give us some input, what you see in your teens and tweens, that would be super helpful.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. And yeah, that's it. That's all we got.
Stay sweet.
Halloween.